Welcome back. This is Design Solid tutorial number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Modify multiple dimensions, curves, and thicknesses of a model. Good stuff. Let's get started. So, Fusion, boom, there it is. Open basic training, O4 modeling, this dual mount. Okay, so once again, I like to just turn on all the sketches and go back, rewind, and then just play this thing to see how they made this. Cool, huh? It's like, basically it's like extrude, 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 extrude. Some cuts, I don't know what those are, and holes, and then a mirror. Anyway, you can play with that. Okay, what they want us to do here is, you know how you have sketches? You have, like, here, turn up the bodies. Like, here's a sketch, right? You could add dimensions on these sketches, right? And you could change the values of diameters, and you can just move points around and things like that. And that's cool, but it's also cool. Another way to do things is to have these parameters. This, like, maybe you don't know how big something's going to be, but you know it's going to change. For example, like the base of this, you want to get this part designed so you don't slow the project down, but you don't know how wide, how big these holes are going to be, or how wide this base is going to be, because that part of the project, somebody else is working on that and you don't know. So you agree on the parameters, and then you can come back later and change them. So you can name them, basically. So if you go to this modify change parameters, there's a user parameter that they've already added for you. And I'm going to change the name because hole is like, I mean, it's not very descriptive. I'm going to change it to hole Bob. And then I'm going to add another one. They ask you to add another one. I'm going to change this to base Bob, and 325, I think, is what they want. Okay, so these are user parameters that I've named because I expect to have to go back later and change them as the design evolves. In fact, these can be driven. These can be. You can have a lot of these things, and they can be in a big list, a big database somewhere by maybe the project manager or the lead engineer or something. Might have a whole list of these kinds of parameters that might have to change. All right, so yeah, click OK. All right, now they want us to change a couple of holes. So you have to get in here and right click this, and you should be able to click edit feature, but you can't always get it there. Like now I can get it. Yeah, edit feature, and then it gives me an option, hole 1. That's what you want to do, but I think they want hole 2, which is this one. Edit feature, hole 2. But if you can't do that, if you can't for some reason select these, you can get them in the timeline. Like there's hole 2, right? In the timeline. So you can right click that and go edit feature. All right, so if you can't grab it in the model, for example, it could have been on the mirrored side, and for some reason it's harder to grab it. I don't know exactly why, but anyway, you can grab it in the timeline if you can't get it in the rendering. So yeah, so this diameter right here is 12.5. We can change that to hole Bob, and it gives us a list here. We can pick hole Bob. All right, and then when I click it, it's going to get bigger. It's going to go from 12.5 to 15, which is hole Bob. And then I could go back up here to manage to change parameters, and I could change it here. I could make it 30. And you know, they get way big, or 50. Okay, cool. All right, next thing is this base. So right click that, click edit feature, and then select, because there's a bunch of features, and so it gives you this list. So you want extrude 4, and this thing was 300 millimeters wide. You could change it here, but you could also change it to our named parameter, base bob. Okay, and which is 325. So it changes the width of this thing. Once again, you can go back here later if you needed to and change this to whatever you want. Okay, cool. Let's see, what's next? Okay, next is just a couple of press pulls just to get practice, I think. So you could click up here, press pull, or you could right click anywhere on the canvas and get, you know, quick things that you might want to do, like in this case, press pull. So it's a right click and then press pull. And here they're asking you to just grab all of these faces. Because let's say you made this thing and you put it out there and it's holding up a building or something, and it turns out to be way too flimsy, so you got to come back in here and make it more bigger. So distance 10. Okay, and that was just, we were just offsetting a face by 10 millimeters more, make it thicker. Then I think they want you to do a fillet. Modify fillet, click these edges, type in some number, whatever, you know, some number. So it puts a fillet in here. Then they want you to make these holes, which I think were extrusions, but we can edit them. So modify, oh no, it's a press pull again. So press pull, this thing, yeah, it's a press pull 7.5 is what they want us to key in there. So we're offsetting that. We're not changing the radius, which kind of bothers me a little bit, but anyway, that's what seems confusing, to have something defined by a radius and an offset. That seems like it'd be confusing to remember later how you design this thing. But anyway, you can do that. And that's it. Just another way to edit stuff with these parameters that you can name. These are user parameters, right? The model parameters are all of this, all of the ones that you create when you're doing the create commands, right? All of this, it creates all of these data for each one of these operations that you perform. But what we just did for this tutorial is we added some named parameters, which we can use apparently in anywhere. So that's that. So go do that, and give me a picture that shows that you did what the intent of the lab, like with this dialogue here. All right, thanks.